Namaste. We are now continuing with our amazing bliss of learning and experiencing, and more importantly, enjoying Vasudevah as one of the important Tirunama of Lord Sri Krishna as spoken in Srimad Bhagavad Geetha. We have seen in earlier two episodes of Vasudevah of how Sri Krishna himself calls Vasudevah and what it means. And in the last episode, we saw how Sanjaya had called once in the context of addressing Krishna as Vasudeva. Today, we are going to see the second instance where Sanjaya is again referring Sri Krishna as Vasudeva. This happens at the 18th chapter, 74th sloka. 18th chapter, we all know, is the last chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Geetha. It has total of 18 chapters and it is called Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. The reference of Sanjaya at the 18th chapter 74th sloka actually becomes an answer to what Dhritarashtra asked Sanjaya in the first chapter. Dhritarashtra says, Sanjaya, tell me what is happening in Kurukshetra. We all know that Sanjaya is blessed with a unique vision where he can see what is happening in the warfield in the place where he is sitting and help Dhritarashtra, who is visually challenged, to explain what exactly is happening, because he, as the head of the state and father of the Kauravas, is very anxious to know what is happening. So Sanjaya is blessed to see and explain sitting wherever they are. So in the first chapter, Dhritarashtra asks Sanjaya, tell me what is happening in the Kurukshetra battlefield, and then Sanjaya recites a lot of things. Now starting from chapter 1, we have now come to the chapter 18, which is the end chapter, 74th sloka, where Sanjaya says what's happening. But before that, we have to understand two important things. Lord Sri Krishna and Arjuna, who are in conversation, which is Bhagavad Gita, speaks across all these chapters, and 18th chapter, 72nd sloka is when Krishna speaks for the last time. 18th chapter, 73rd sloka is when Arjuna speaks for the last time in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Now Sanjaya in 18th chapter, 74th sloka is speaking for the last time. Let's address what is happening.
Sanjaya uvacha ityaham vasudevasya parthasya cha mahatmanah samvadamimamashtrausham adbhudam romaharshanam.
In Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the very first chapter, Dhritarashtra asks, Sanjaya, tell me what is happening at Kurukshetra, Dharma Kshetriya Kurukshetra, he says that. And now we are in the 18th chapter, Sanjaya says, Ityaham Vasudevasya Parthasya cha Mahatmaha Samvadam Imam Akshausham Adbhudam Romaharshanam is what Sanjaya says. Vasudevasya Parthasya, he is bringing the name of Partha to refer Arjuna here. He is also referring Krishna as Vasudeva here. We all know both Krishna and Arjuna has got many names and addressed in many names within Srimad Bhagavad Gita itself, and specifically uses Partha because he is Pritha's son. Kunti has got another name called Pritha. So Pritha's son Partha and Vasudeva's son Vasudeva. The cousins are speaking is what Sanjaya is now establishing. But the important verb that we have to focus on is ityaham, means he is speaking in a direct speech. Thus it happened. As we all know, our Ramayana and Mahabharata is called itihas. They are not mythology as we call in English. It is itihas. Thus it happened. Here again, Sanjaya says ityaham. That means he is saying in a direct speech because he is blessed and he is seeing everything directly in a first person account to say this is what is happening. And this Sambhashana, he says, is happening between Krishna and Mahatma. Now Mahatma's reference gone to Arjuna, not to Sri Krishna. Because in chapter 7:19, it is the same Sri Krishna who is saying that I don't get to see a Mahatma who says Vasudeva is everything. And now at the 18th chapter, Krishna gets to see a Mahatma in the form of Arjuna, thanks to Sanjaya, that here is one, a Mahatma who is now listening to Krishna. Here we have to understand the other things, that the quality of the discussion is so beautiful. Sanjaya is using Adbhudam and Romaharshanam. It is some of the best speech we call. No, Bhagavad Gita has got so much of knowledge and wealth of information in it for all of us. Obviously it is Adbhudam, it is an amazing speech, and Romaharshanam. I get goosebumps listening to all these things. We all get goosebumps when we listen to Sri Krishna. It is Sri Krishna's word, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and we will all get, and that's exactly what Sanjaya is saying here, that I am getting goosebumps. Now the interesting fact here is the Mahatma adjective given to Arjuna, and as I just said before, 18th chapter, 72nd sloka, Krishna finishes his speech. 18th chapter, 73rd sloka, Arjuna finishes its speech. Now that is what makes him a Mahatma now as per Sanjaya. And what does Arjuna says? Arjuna says to Krishna at 18th chapter 73rd sloka, he starts with Nashto Moho Sudirlabha and then says Karishye Vachanam Tava. What does Karishye Vachanam Tava means? We all get to use this term in our colloquial languages at home when we tell our spouses that we will obey as per what you say. But here Arjuna is telling Sri Krishna, Karishye Vachanam Tava. Hey Krishna, you have told me so much up to 18th chapter 72nd sloka. I am going to obey completely in total surrender. And it was Sri Arjuna who started saying, I am not even able to stand, my knees are weak, it looks like my Kandiba will even fall down. Oh, for a warrior like Arjuna, allowing his bow, the Kandiba, to fall down is the biggest insult. It's as good as giving his life. He was at that state at chapter 1. Now he says at 18th chapter 73rd sloka that I am obeying to you completely and I am full of knowledge and conviction about what I am supposed to do. Thanks only to Sri Krishna's blessings and the knowledge that Sri Krishna is giving Arjuna. And that is why now, since Arjuna is surrendered and says that I will obey you Krishna, he becomes Mahatma. So all of us to become Mahatma, as what Sri Krishna wanted in 7th chapter 19th sloka, to make it easy for him. He has said Sudirlabha. We have to make it easy by obeying to Sri Krishna and surrendering to Sri Krishna and look at Krishna everywhere. Because as Vasudevah, we learned, we understood that one who is in everybody and everywhere and one who is engulfing all of us, protecting everybody. So Vasudeva is Sarvam. As long as we realize that Sarvam is Vasudeva and surrender to Vasudeva, that is the only goal of our life and that makes us Mahatma. In Sri Vishnu Sahasranama, Bhishma Pitamaha says after reciting the Sahasranama, Sahasram Vasudevasya Namnam Etat. Now here we have to understand Bhishma Pitamaha was lying in the bed of arrows awaiting his death. We all know he had a boon that he can choose his time of death. And now lying in bed of arrows, that's the best part. We are all used to seeing Amar Chitra Katha and some cartoon pictures as if he is in a rosy bed. But these are arrows which was fired at Bhishma Pitamaha. He just pierced his body and he is just using that to rest himself. So it is most painful situation for any human. As a true warrior and a legend in himself, he is able to bear the pain. And it is at that time Sri Krishna asks Pandavas to go and say Dharma, go and ask Bhishma Pitamaha about what is Dharma about. So Yudhishthira goes there along with other Pandavas and gives their respects and say Bhishma Pitamaha, please teach us Dharma. And Bhishma, being the greatest warrior at that time, in that situation of being lying in a bed of arrows, he goes ahead and gives what is Dharma by first composing Sri Vishnu Sahasranama and telling them, and Sri Krishna himself is listening. He says there are many names in which you can address Sri Krishna, and the Dharma is all about reciting Sri Krishna's names all the time, but I am giving you a select 1008 names, Sahasranama, and then after giving those names he says Vasudevasya Sarvam, everything is Vasudeva, all these names is just Vasudeva. Just as Bhishma Pitamaha said, how many ever names I can give to Sri Krishna, everything is in there when you say address him as Vasudeva. Sanjaya here, after listening to entire 18th chapter, 18th chapter 74th sloka says Vasudeva. We know that there are many names in which till the last chapter Krishna is addressed. But here again beautiful uniformity, because when you see that Sanjay is also saying Vasudeva as the final name says, which represents all the names of Krishna. Bhishma Pitamaha has also said later that how many ever names you can address Sri Krishna with, just address him as Vasudeva because it contains everything. So let us pray to Sri Krishna as Vasudeva and be blessed always. Namaste.
Madhava Achyuta Krishna Hare Rishikesha Keshava Govinda Vasudeva Bhagavan Janardana